Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Frontproof Media's Joseph Correa. He's going to do a breakdown with me for this weekend's UFC 208. It's me, Ed Carbajal. You can follow me on Twitter at Carbazal. I'm the mixed martial arts analyst for frontproofmedia.com. And the founder himself is here with me. What's up, Joseph?
What's going on, man? So we talking 208 or 210?
We're talking 210. God forbid, no, we are not talking 208. That's the worst. That's the worst card ever.
Scared me.
That's the bad luck card. Yeah, no, we're not talking 208 ever. I don't even want to talk about 208. That was just a bad night in general. But yeah, no, 210 is tomorrow night, and that's the rematch between Daniel Cormier and Anthony Johnson. So rather than do a written breakdown for the MMA Forethought, you had been nice enough to agree to sit down with me and do this online. So did you have a chance to look at the card? You got any ideas or favorites you want to call a fight or two?
I'm really looking forward to the Daniel Cormier Anthony Rumble Johnson bout. I'm sure a lot of people are. Obviously, this is a rematch of their first, and it's in a different weight class. So that's pretty interesting. I know Cormier kind of looks weird at 205 to me. It doesn't look as strong. I actually thought he looked better as a larger man. I'm not sure if you feel the same, but
no, he just wants to stay at heavyweight because he doesn't want to ever have to. That's just like a dojo honor thing. Because if he fights at heavyweight, he doesn't want to have the choice of fighting Cain Velasquez again. So he's a light heavyweight champion, and he makes 205 today. There was some controversy. I don't know if you noticed about him with the towel and being losing a pound and a half in like 30 seconds or something like that. I forget what the wet numbers were.
Yeah, people were saying the magic towel, that it was a magic towel actually. That at first he came in heavy, and then the towel was administered, and all of a sudden he made weight. That was pretty crazy.
It was, but I'm not going to. The guy's an Olympian. He's a wrestler. I mean, wrestlers know how to make weight, and the thing of it, people are making such a big deal about it. I'm just like, come on, man. You never stepped on a scale and stepped off and stepped back on and saw a different number, because especially with a digital scale, like somebody who's bounced between 176 and 215 like myself, I mean, I've watched my weight fluctuate, just because the scale was in a humid area or with digital. That's why I always prefer an old school scale. So I'm not going to fault them for that. People are making too big a deal about it. Be happy they both made weight and we still got to fight. For pay-per-view.
But talk about controversy. What about the New York State Athletic Commission today informing Pearl Gonzalez that she was unable to fight because of breast implants? That was a little shocking. I'm told now that the fight is back on, that they originally informed her of that, but now she is going to be allowed to fight. I thought that was a little shocking. We put something up on our Instagram and on our social media about that. Speaking of social media, we have Instagram fans watching this live right now. If you are watching this, make sure to visit us at www.frontproofmedia.com. We have all your media needs covered: boxing, MMA, all combat sports.
Yes, sir. And just to comment on the thing with Gonzalez. So I don't know. I forget who put. I think Ariel Helwani put the video up. Someone put a video up from their cell phone where they spoke with the athletic commission director, where he said after further review we changed our minds, blah blah blah. And a lot of people are saying, I didn't even know. She would have to answer for herself. But people are saying, you let Miesha Tate fight in November and she has implants. I didn't know she has implants. Not that whatever for people that have implants, but either way, Pearl Gonzalez is 6-1, so she's obviously, if she's had them, she's been fighting with them. and she's fine. It's definitely a weird. I feel like every time MMA is in New York because it's new, the commission is handling it with like
Kid
extreme
gloves.
caution. Yeah,
That's New York. That's the
yeah,
New York State Athletic Commission. Period. Though they have some funny ways sometimes. I mean, not as bad as like Texas or Virginia. They they can be worse at times, but it was a little shocking that they said she couldn't fight when she's already been fighting. They said that the scare is that one of her implants may rupture, apparently.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's a legitimate concern. I get it. It is a rough sport. You're putting weight on each other. You're, moving quickly. You're wrestling. You're hitting each other. It can happen, but she knows the risks. She's been doing it. You know, I don't see the problem. It's not like they're new. It's not like
yeah.
something that just happened.
No, and I mean, I'm pretty sure she's not the only fighter that has implants. And oh, they do get hit in the breast a lot. I hate to focus on it, but it's funny that you're bringing it up because when I was watching Invicta 22 just a couple of
Hmm.
weeks ago, that was actually one of the calls that happened. So I forget which fight it was, but the one of the commentators mentioned he had an accent. He was like, "Oh, she got hit in the breast," and it seemed like he got so someone in his ear said, "Don't mention breasts." It's like everybody's did we all turn into 5-year-olds and get shy about breasts? You know what I mean? But anyway, that's besides the point. But her fight's back on. I guess they didn't want to look like fools. Um, and then there's a lot of ways to argue against it because if you look, I actually uploaded it in Slack today. If you look at the way it's written by the commission, I mean it's written for boxing. It's not written for MMA, so it could easily be argued against uh, just to make it allowed. So I guess they didn't want to go through that whole rigmarole. Um, but they're both. I actually think Calvillo might. She seemed. I don't know if you watched the weigh-ins, the later weigh-ins, the ones that happened at 4 p.m.
Hmm.
She got in her face. I Calvillo got in Gonzalez's face at the face-off that Dana White had to get between them. So I don't know if she's a little more game for that fight or if the whole controversy threw Gonzalez off. I'm anxious to see that one too. There's a lot
Absolutely.
of there's a lot of good fights on this card though.
Well,
Besides the main event.
I mean, I understand why Calvillo is confident though. Her last fight, she had a first round submission over Amanda Bobby Cooper at UFC 209. That was just last month. So she's
Yeah.
still riding high off that win. So it's par for the course. Of course, she's going to be fired up, and then the whole controversy. That can kind of take something out of a fighter at times. So why not seize the opportunity to let your opponent know you're there?
Oh yeah, like make her a little more nervous. I
Absolutely.
agree. I agree. The head games always work a little bit if especially if you're a master at them. But
Correct.
so let me look at this card again because we went to the main event, but I wanted to talk about one of the fighters that I've been watching since he got there last July. He's kicking off the main card, the first fight on the pay-per-view, Will Brooks and Charles Oliveira. Will Brooks, he was the former Bellator lightweight champion, and they let him go. Um, I guess to either pursue his own free agency or I know he didn't feel like he was being treated right at Bellator, and I kind of agree with him in that sense because what he went through to get the title there was marketable enough in itself. So now he's working his way up in the UFC, and he had a couple of rough fights. But so this fight with him and Oliveira, I think Oliveira had something happen to his throat in his last fight, so he's coming back after being out for a while, and that's going to be a really good lightweight fight. I think if Will Brooks wins, he could definitely get in the running for a title in the UFC. I think if he gets past Oliveira, but his first win before they had him fight Ross Pearson back in July. And actually, it was weird because I remember watching it and thinking I was in Vegas when that happened. That was during International Fight Week of last year before the sale of the UFC, and I thought he had a rough first fight, and then now he's back in the UFC. So I'm picking him to win tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to the fight. I know Oliveira is a game fighter for him to face, but Will Brooks is not somebody to look over, and hopefully he gets the push after if he wins tomorrow night.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Brooks came in missing 6 pounds before, correct?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe in his other fight, not today.
No, I mean previously. And he went back to welterweight. Is that correct?
No, he's always been a 155er.
Okay.
He actually fought in a lightweight tournament. That's why I kind of feel his disgruntledness with Bellator, because he fought in a lightweight tournament and then he lost, but he made it far enough to be an alternate. So when Eddie Alvarez was injured, he couldn't fight his third fight against Michael Chandler for the title. They made Brooks and Chandler fight for the interim lightweight title there, and Brooks was the alternate, so they called him back, and he wound up beating Michael Chandler. And then they made him fight when Eddie Alvarez got signed to UFC. They had to fight each other again for the real title, and he beat him again. So that's why I'm just like, I think the kid's a superstar, and I mean, the fact that he's in the UFC, he's definitely going to make a name for himself. He's just got to get past this guy tomorrow.
Well, I know coming out of Bellator, he had a lot of hype.
Yeah.
He was champion there, correct?
Yeah, he was a lightweight champion.
Yeah, and coming into the UFC had a lot of hype, and yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see that. I'm less familiar with him, obviously. I'm boxing, but I'm learning from you and others, and I'm excited to see him. Everything I've read about Brooks says he pretty much can do it all. I'm gonna have to watch some tape on him. The knock that I keep seeing on him is that he's not finishing his opponents like he should. So, that being the case, if that's true, he really needs to start doing that, because MMA is not a sport you want to have guys hang around in.
No, definitely not, man. But he's a worker. I think I don't, if he grinded out guys in the fashion that he fights in, I mean, he can make for an entertaining fight, even if he winds up being more of a decision fighter here in the UFC. I'm excited to watch him fight. But the fight that a lot of people are concerned, I'm concerned with anyway, just because he's fighting in New York again. The co-main event with Chris Weidman and Gegard Mousasi. Obviously, the middleweight division's all kinds of messed up right now. I don't know if you heard about that with the whole thing I mean, we streamed it on Frontproof, the GSP versus Bisping. It's happening, but there's no official date yet, so that kind of puts the whole middleweight division on the standstill.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is kind of like so this fight is probably keep one of these two guys in the running. Gegard Mousasi's been pretty upset about his time in the UFC. Lately he hasn't been too happy. And Weidman lost when last time he fought in New York in 205 against Romero, which was supposed to put Yoel Romero up against Bisping, but now with all the marketing and they're trying to make the money fight with GSP and Bisping, this fight kind of has like a title lingering to it. The winner gets whoever wins between Bisping and GSP, if that ever happens. But either way, I need to see Chris Weidman win, because he did so much to get the sport legal in New York. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that matchup.
Well, I am familiar with those two, and I know Mousasi's a great striker. He's also good with his submissions, so he's going to give Weidman a lot of trouble, I think. Weidman hasn't been as impressive as of late. He was impressive when he beat the great Anderson Silva, but since then he's kind of been on a downslide, in my opinion. I don't know that he's going to be able to deal with the striking of Musasi. Um, going back to what you said about Bisping fighting GSP, I don't think that's right. I think that the UFC is making a mistake doing that. They did the same thing with Conor McGregor, where he didn't defend his title, and they just kind of let him bounce around and fight whoever he said he wanted to fight. Boxing does that a lot, and one thing that the UFC has done very well is remain structured, and I don't think that shows structure when you're allowing people to do that. So GSP, one of the greatest UFC fighters ever and one of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters, comes back. You don't just throw him in there with the champion. Why? Because he's GSP? I don't believe in that. I think he needs to earn his way. I thought that the other gentleman earned his shot against the champion. Obviously he wants that fight. There's been a lot of Twitter trash talk. So why not give him the fight? And then if you want to bring GSP back into the spotlight like that, let him fight the winner of that fight instead of just throwing him in there with Bisping right away. I don't think that's the right move, personally.
No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Talking about that, I mean, I know we're looking at UFC 208. I mean, and we'll call our picks in a minute, but just because you mentioned it and everybody's mentioning it, I mean, and you just said you are the boxing for Frontproof.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? I mean, this whole mess with Mayweather and McGregor. I mean, they keep talking about it happening, and now I'm hearing September. I mean, I'm just like, you know how I feel about it. I don't even want to talk about it until contracts are signed and a venue's booked. But what do you think about it?
Well, honestly, I don't like all the talk about Mayweather McGregor. I don't like that fight at all. I don't think McGregor stands a chance at all. Mayweather is one of the best pure boxers of this generation. Like him or not, a lot of people hate him. They say he runs, they say this, they say that.
I'm
But
one of them.
and yeah, see, you're one of them, but you cannot take away that he's a genius. I mean, the man is a pedigreed fighter. He grew up, his father was a champion, his uncle was a champion. He grew up in the gym. He knows boxing inside out. This is not somebody who started at 10 years old or 20 years old, and he's been fighting all his life. This is all he knows, and he has perfected his craft. Don't believe me? Go watch. There's a video out there right now where Andre Berto is talking about the genius of Mayweather. When he fought him, he was just so shocked at how Mayweather saw everything coming, how he calculated every move, how he breathed in there, how he watched him in the corner between rounds. He said he was just so amazed at his ring intelligence. And you're going to tell me that a guy like McGregor is going to come in with zero boxing matches? I mean, I know he boxed as a youngster, but this is a different ball game. You're talking about fighting the best. The best.
Yeah.
I don't think McGregor can even beat a guy in the top 50, let alone the best welterweight in the world. It's just not going to happen. Mayweather's not really known, particularly in his later years, as a knockout artist, but I think he would stop McGregor.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page as far as like the fight. My thing is, and it's never going to happen. I know Mayweather would never agree to it, but it's obviously in Mayweather's court because it's a boxing match. Like, I mean, if it was a mixed rules match, and I've had this conversation and in other forums and stuff for MMA guys, like, make it a mixed, do an Ali Inoki thing. I mean, you're giving Mayweather too much of an advantage. Everything you said is true for boxing and Mayweather. Everything you said, I agree with, and it's true. And that's more reason why I don't see why is it agreeing to a boxing match. And I mean, I know Mayweather would never agree to anything outside of boxing. Even Dana White said on the when he was on Conan, if it was an MMA fight, he'd be done in 30 seconds.
It's terrible for boxing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a lose-lose situation for Mayweather, because if he wins, which he is going to win for sure, they're going to say, well, you beat a guy who doesn't box. If he
yeah,
loses, could you imagine that? I mean, that's not going to happen, but just think of the criticism that would come from that. It's just terrible for the sport. It's a circus.
it
Um,
is.
that's the best way I can put it. It's a circus. Um,
Yeah,
Mayweather would eat him alive. It's just stupid. I hate the fact that they're bringing it up. I get it. The income potential is there. It's an easy fight for Mayweather, and if it makes dollars, it makes sense to him. So he's up for that. He's retired, and if he can make $100 million, why not for an easy fight like that? And there's going to be people out there who disagree with me, and they think that McGregor actually has a chance, but it's stupid. I hate even talking about it, to be honest, because every time I think about that matchup, it just makes me cringe, because you're talking about, again, one of the best pound for pound fighters of this generation. Love him or hate him, you can't deny the fact that the man is a ring genius.
yeah. No, that's why I had to make the point that I made before. When I agreed with you, because I mean everything you said is true. I mean, for boxing and for him and that sport, so it is a circus. We shouldn't have even talked about it. But,
No, it's good that you brought it up anyway, because that's people want to know about that. They do. It is a topic of interest out there. It's unfortunate, but it is a topic of interest. And, the one pushing the fight more than anybody is Conor McGregor. He's the one pushing this because it's the biggest payday he'll see probably ever, because the UFC doesn't have paydays like that. That's unfortunate, because those guys work their behinds off, and they deserve bigger paydays than they get, but that's neither here nor there. That's for the UFC to decide. And that, but I get why he's pushing the fight, but everybody wants to fight Mayweather. Even in boxing, you look around, guys are calling him out left and right, because that's where the payday is. You fight him, you're guaranteed double-digit millions.
yeah,
It's guaranteed. You're not going to fight for less.
well, that's the other thing Dana White said. He said it's too lucrative for too many people to make money off of it for it to not happen. So,
and I mean, if you want to have McGregor come in and fight, why Mayweather? I mean, aside from the money, my boy Keith Thurman said he'll fight McGregor. You know what I mean? You want to really see what it's about. McGregor couldn't handle somebody like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman would crush him. You know what I mean? So why Mayweather? He's retired. Let the man stay retired. To be honest with you, I wouldn't want to see Mayweather back in the ring at all. He's already proven everything he can prove. Why even come back? Let these young lions fight it out. You got guys like Errol Spence.
yeah.
You got Keith Thurman. You got a lot of young lions out here in the welterweight division and other divisions as well. Let them fight it out. Speaking of Errol Spence, he'll be fighting over in England against Kell Brook. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. A lot of people are already saying Errol Spence, writing off Kell Brook, but man, that's going to be a tough fight for Errol Spence. He's never, ever faced anybody like Kell Brook. Kell Brook's the champion. Kell Brook is the welterweight that moved up. People forget he moved up to fight the guy everybody's ducking, Triple G. He moved up to middleweight to fight this guy because he's already a big welterweight. So, what makes people think that Errol Spence is just going to run this dude over? I mean, Errol Spence has never fought anybody on that level at all. The best win he has as a professional is Chris Algieri. Now, granted, he won impressively. He stopped Chris Algieri, which is something other guys don't do. However, Chris Algieri can't punch out of a wet paper bag. So there was nothing to really fear. So he just kind of ran him over. You know what I mean? He didn't try to box with him because that's Chris Algieri's thing. He's going to box with you and, but he can't punch. So, he went in there with the right strategy and stopped him. He has a good body attack and a good offensive onslaught. But what happens when he gets touched? That's what I want to see. I want to see how he responds when he's touched. And Kell Brook is underrated in a lot of ways. I'm not a huge Kell Brook fan. I mean, it sounds like it from the way I'm talking, but when he fought Sean Porter, he really made things rough because he'll hang all over you. He has a real good clinch game. So, for those who don't know, that can really throw off an offensive game plan if you can clinch a guy, but intelligently. You know what I mean? You can kind of throw off his rhythm with clinches and kind of hang on him and wear him down. How is Errol Spence going to respond to that? And you got other guys out there too. This weekend, you have Vasyl Lomachenko versus Jason Sosa. That's going to be a hell of a fight.
Is that that's the same night as that's tomorrow night too? UFC.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night. That's a top ranked card. Vasyl Lomachenko is
where is it airing?
HBO.
Okay.
HBO. And if you haven't seen Vasyl Lomachenko fight, do yourself a favor and treat yourself to the experience. This guy was probably, if not one of the most decorated amateurs of all time. He had a reported record of 496-1. I mean, you don't hear about stuff like that. This dude fought almost 500 fights and lost one and avenged that loss.
Where's that fight happening?
In Washington, D.C.
I'm just asking because usually, but that's regular on HBO though. It's not a pay-per-view. Usually when there's a big boxing pay-per-view, the UFC, there is nothing on. So that's why I'm asking, because obviously if you're going to be watching that, I'll be watching UFC 208. It's funny. I was talking with chatting with in our virtual office in Slack with Hector Franco before. And he was asking me, because I guess he's just gonna have a whole fight day tomorrow, and he was asking me what would I watch, and I told him I got a lot of stuff to do during the day, but I'm going to be watching UFC 208 in the evening, only because I'm going to be busy during the day. But tomorrow we have the photos and the weigh-in results up on Frontproof Media. Bellator 176 is there's MMA in the afternoon tomorrow, so. If I'm a hardcore fight fan, but if I didn't have anything to do tomorrow, my day would be I'd watch Bellator on Spike because it's both Bellator 176, the MMA event, and then their kickboxing event. It's like 4 hours of fighting they're going to have on Spike, and by the time that's done, we should be right in line for the prelims on Fox Sports for UFC 208, and that would be my day. I'm probably going to catch the prelims halfway through, and then the main card for 208 tomorrow night. But the boxing match you just mentioned, what time does that start tomorrow?
I believe 9 p.m.
Yeah, so that's going to be
you'll definitely want to see Lomachenko fight. If you haven't seen him, you'll definitely want to see him. In terms of skill right now, him and Guillermo Rigandao, which is a Cuban fighter, they're definitely, in my opinion, the best two skill-wise. They have a slightly different approach.
Well, you know what? If I'm lucky, maybe they'll have them both on. Because remember that one night, the last UFC pay-per-view in 209 that happened the same night Thurman fought. Remember?
Yeah, in New York.
And I sent you the picture. I was watching them both, so I'm not. Maybe unless they want to sponsor, do some advertising on the website for us, I'll be watching it at Hooters, and they usually have a bunch of stuff on. So if there's no other sports on, if there's no baseball or basketball, I may be able to watch both.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you can see Lomachenko fight, I think he's gonna really open your eyes. Just think of some of the dynamic fighters and mixed martial arts who kind of fight outside the box. They're not textbook, but they are at the same time. Like this dude, he's the complete package. You know what I mean? He can do it all. He has great movement. I mean, he does things that no one does, and with the exception of Rigo, who I mentioned, there's just nobody on that level. And so you'd really be treating yourself if you check out that fight.
I have a feeling I'll be able to watch both because they always have that one TV on what that just has like Hooters nonsense. And
Mhm.
the last time I was there, I was like, "Can you take that off and put the fight here so I can see it better? I'm not breaking my neck." And they did it for me, so I think I'll be able to watch. I can tell them put the fight on. But you said it's on HBO though. I don't think they have HBO in this place.
Definitely try though. And speaking of upcoming fights, man, you know, we have the battle for Mexico with Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Oh yeah,
There's going to be a lot of pride in that fight. That's going to be in Vegas. We will be there live covering the fight. That's going to be an
cool.
excellent fight.
Are you
Canelo,
going for that, or
yeah,
is
I will
our
be there. It'll be myself,
cool?
Daniel, Stacks, Cynthia, the whole team. Hector's going as well. So the whole team will just be missing you, Mr. Ed. Um, but we'll all be there representing. There's also the Boxing Expo. So any of you that are watching this live on Instagram, you'll definitely want to get out to the Boxing Expo. That'll be taking place the same day on May 6th. It'll be taking place before the fights start. That's going to be a great chance to meet some of the boxing greats and some of the current fighters, as well as a lot of the media groups will be there. It's just going to be a great weekend. But that fight, you know, a lot of people are writing off Cesar Chavez Jr. because in the past he's come in unmotivated, he's come in overweight, you know, a plethora of different things. But for this fight, he's been releasing pictures and the dude's in great shape. He's obviously taking this serious,
Well,
as
you
he
have to.
should. He has to, because
Yeah.
Canelo right now is the face of boxing. Whether you like that or not, like they have made him, you know, maybe not income wise the new Mayweather, but in terms of being recognized, he's the face, you know. And people have their likes and dislikes for him. You know, they say duck Triple G, whatnot, you know, but it's promoters who duck promoters for those out there. So it's really not, you know, fighters ducking fighters. These guys, most of them know each other anyway. They've come across one another in amateurs or in sparring, or, you know, they're not scared. At this level, they're not scared of one another. It's promoters ducking promoters. But, you know, Canelo better come in and really take this serious, because Chavez clearly is taking this serious. And if he beats Canelo, boy, that really shakes things up. And he already said that he'd take the fight with Triple G, no problem. In fact, he says that it'd be easier than Canelo. And we have that video up on our YouTube right now. If you want to check it out, youtube.com/Frontproof Media. You can check that video out where Chavez Jr. spoke to us in an interview, and he said the Triple G fight is actually even easier. So that was a little shocking to hear. I'm not really sold on Triple G like that. I mean, he's a good fighter. I think he does a lot of things right, but in his last fight, he showed some more vulnerabilities. And I think in the last few fights, even in the Brook fight with the smaller man, he showed some vulnerabilities, and they may be starting to put some kinks in his armor. So, you know, getting back to the UFC 210 card though, with the Cormier Rumble Johnson fight, I'm really looking forward to this. I like Rumble Johnson a lot. I like Cormier a lot too. I know a lot of guys don't like him for whatever reason, maybe his
Yeah,
arrogance, or
I don't get that at all. I don't even find him arrogant, so I have no idea where that comes from.
the dude is a hell of a wrestler. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, he's good. He's there for a reason, you know, and you don't end up the captain of a U.S. Olympic team in wrestling by accident. You know, it's just, you just don't. That doesn't happen. The guy can fight, you know, and he can take a punch. He's fought Rumble Johnson before. Rumble Johnson puts dudes to sleep, you
Yeah.
know, and he weathered the storm. He took some big shots in that fight, weathered the storm, and pulled out a win. You know, I'm not so sure he's going to be able to do that now. I think that Rumble Johnson's improved since that fight, you know, and Cormier's kind of been inactive, you know, and when he has been active, you know, who has he really fought? A lot of his fights have fallen through, things of that nature.
Yeah.
He fought Anderson Silva, who didn't belong in that weight class,
Came in on 2 days' notice.
on 2 days' notice. You can't count that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
legend, but you can't. That's not going to prepare you for what Rumble Johnson's going to bring. And I've only seen him on the, the climb. So I think Anthony Johnson has the momentum going into the fight, and he has the punch. And I think he may stop Cormier in this fight.
He could, but see the thing about it. The thing about this fight, why it's so hard to call for so many people, is because obviously you have the history that they have, and DC came out on top. Like you said, yes, he got dropped. He can get dropped again. But the thing is, if he can survive it the way that he did last time, chances are he can wear him down and submit him again. I mean, I don't. Usually guys that finish fast and early like that don't have the gas to go for 5-minute round for a championship fight. I mean, you see it. What you see, look at McGregor when he fought Diaz the second time. He was out of gas, and that's when Diaz was giving him the finger and stuff. But I think if he can weather the storm, the same thing could happen again. However, like you said, he hasn't been active. He's had surgery, injuries, keeping him out of being as active as. Meanwhile, Rumble's been finishing guys off, making his way back to him. Correct. So I have a feeling. I mean, if there's any wild card out there, it could be the fact that, I mean, we don't know how well he's recovered from an injury. A lot of these guys come in. There's always something. I mean, as well, especially at the age that I mean, not that he's old. I'm older than all of them, but and I speak from experience. I mean, I'm in pain right now talking to you. Mm-hmm. So chances are, whatever he's over, and the way they train at AKA seems to be everyone that's become a popular meme amongst the MMA community. The AKA just trains because all their guys. I mean, look at all the guys from Daniel Cormier's camp. Luke Rockhold has his knee messed up. Khabib just went through his thing for when they pulled his fight out with Ferguson. Cain Velasquez, everything that Cain Velasquez has been through. All those guys are part of the same camp, and it's like, and Cain Velasquez is the one that everyone tries to. It's like Daniel's probably acting all right, but I have a feeling. I mean, if something's wrong, he's not going to say anything, and we'll see it tomorrow night. So there is a wild card that it could go either way, but I don't know. You seem like you're leaning towards Rumble.
I am leaning towards Rumble. Again, Cormier's 2 years older. You just mentioned, and what is he, 35, 36?
Yeah, I think he's 36. I
mean, 36 years old. As well as I do.
Yeah, that's old.
And as an athlete, particularly one in combat sports, be it boxing or mixed martial arts, every year counts, like 2 years. So, because you're taking punishment, and for the fighters out there, they know exactly what we're talking about. It's not easy. You go through injuries. It's rare, if ever, that you ever go into the ring or into the octagon and you're 100%. I mean, that's just unheard of. That it doesn't happen. So, to think that Cormier is just going to go into the ring and, duplicate what he did the first time and win, I think it's going to take more. It's not. Rumble Johnson, again, is looking more and more impressive as he fights. So I don't think that the same game plan is going to work. So I hope that he comes in with a different game plan, kind of throws a wrinkle in the game, and he can keep Rumble off balance, because if he lets him, kind of dictate the pace, I think Rumble will get him out of there.
That's if he doesn't get him, I'm saying I can't pick a winner, because here's the thing: if he can if he doesn't finish him in the I'll say first 3 rounds, that I'm being generous. If he doesn't finish him in the first 3 rounds, then Cormier can wear him out. But all he needs is that one solid punch to drop him and stay on him, and he could end it quickly too. So I'm kind of washing my hands of it right there. It's early for a Rumble. If it goes past three, if it goes past three, excuse me, um, it's gonna be Daniel Cormier's fight. But this whole thing, while this whole thing is going down, John Jones is gonna be sitting in the crowd watching this. I don't know if you read the interview with Flow Combat. They got an exclusive with John Jones, and he's gonna be there, just watching these two guys fight it out because his suspension is up July 6th, and the rumor is they're trying to get him in for International Fight Week that follow for that Saturday on July 8th. So I have a feeling whoever wins tomorrow has a John Jones problem they got to deal with.
John Jones is very difficult to deal with, man. That it's his length, and he knows how to use his length, and he's such a dynamic striker. He adapts well. And I talk about this in boxing all the time. That's what makes Mayweather successful. His ability to adapt. The same thing like a guy like Terrence Crawford, who's an upcoming fighter. He's 140 pounds. He also has the uncanny ability to adapt to what his opponent does, and then he just shuts them down completely.
You think body type has an effect on like who's a better boxer in boxing as far as like the way their build is?
If they know how to use it.
Only other reason I bring it up is because just because you mentioned John Jones' body type, and then you mentioned those two boxers, and I wrote a thing over on Medium about ectomorph and their body, how that body type seems to adapt well for combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had a brain fart again about it when you mentioned those fighters and the body type with John Jones. But yeah, man, I mean, it's gonna be good tomorrow night. So no one's gonna have nothing to watch tomorrow, whether you're a boxing fan or an MMA fan. It's a good night. It's a good day for fights tomorrow, April 8th. I'm excited for it. I mean, even with everything I have to do, I'm excited for the evening.
I want to see them bring my girl back, man, the Karate Hottie.
She's next weekend, isn't she? April 15th. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. That I really like her, man.
Yeah, no, a lot of people
but aside from her being a good-looking woman, obviously she's extremely talented in the ring, and I'm excited to see her come back as well. Not to get off the topic of 210, but yeah, I just thought about it real quick.
Oh yeah, and I got to correct myself. I said 208 in the middle of this before because you mentioned 208, and that's like the bad luck. I blame all bad things on 208. Did you see that bikini competition video that they put up on social media from when she was a bikini like model?
I did not.
Okay, I'll have to send that to you later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. She's fighting Rose Namajunas, and she's that's going to be a good fight. I have a feeling Waterson's going to take it to her, but that's two good looking women throwing down soon.
There's a lot of great female fighters coming up, man. I'm not like a lot of boxing fans, and it doesn't seem like mixed martial arts is as partial, but in boxing, there's kind of a stigma, women fighters, whatever. I like women fighters. One thing I like about women fighters is they fight with the heart of warriors. They go out and they get at it. There is no dancing. There is no adjustments. There's no feel out round. None of that. They go out and get after it. And I think that has something to do with the fact that women just naturally hate each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just there's this thing, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. And that's not knocking women. That's all the respect in the world.
No, that's truth.
I really like female fighting because
there's two tomorrow night.
You get your money's worth. Yes, and I'm looking forward to both of them. Yeah. I'm so glad that they overturned that the fact that they were taking Gonzalez off the card because you train hard for this stuff. You put weeks in. You starve yourself in some cases to make weight. Look at Chris Cyborg. You do a lot, and then to be told at at the weigh-ins that you're not going to be able to fight? Are you kidding me? That's heartbreaking, you know, because all the hard work you put in is now for naught. I mean, how many days do you think she had to go without eating that steak
Yeah.
or without going out with her friends? You know, she's a young girl,
No,
you know,
and
so
you know what the other messed up thing about it was the I don't know if you saw, they didn't tell her her fight was off until after she weighed in. They let her weigh in with her breast implants and everything they thought was wrong with her, and then they told her after the fact, "Oh, yeah, great, congratulations, you made weight. By the way, your fight's canceled because you have breast implants." I think that had a lot to do with them overturning it too, because it's like, why would you let it get that far? Why would you let them make the trip, spend the money, and all that everything involved with fight week and like do the media, like it's not like you didn't know and check her medicals. You knew she had breast implant. Why would you wait till the last minute? I don't know. New York is a strange place. I really hope they don't mess up Bellator or do anything funny, or no one does anything too strange for the New York Commission to ruin Bellator's first run in New York in June, because I'm just like, every time something happens in New York with MMA, I'm like, come on, guys, really? Like, they pulled Rashad Evans from 205 because of some irregularity in his MRI that he even said that it's been happening my whole life, and they pulled him from that. So I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, like you said, good thing that they put that fight back on.
so while we're on the topic of mixed martial arts, you know, I just want to mention that, you know, April 20th, Combate 13, live from Tucson, Arizona. That's going to be a heck of a card as well, man. We love the guys over at Combates America.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
they're a great organization. If you haven't seen anything that they're putting on, make sure you check that out because they're
it's
doing big things.
yeah, it's live on TV Azteca, and then it's going to be video on demand on Fight Pass. Um, and one of the fighters on that card, Ricky Palacios. There's a if you go to their, I think they have a YouTube channel. You can see his highlights. I mean, that dude's a killer. I'm looking forward to seeing his fight. But yeah, they're doing a lot of great things at Combate. I love what they're doing. I've always loved that product, and the guys at Cameron McLaren and everyone that involved over there, they do a really good job of just the promotion and their media events, and every it's just a good time, even when it's just even if it's just like a meet and greet. I mean, they treat everybody so good. It's like a mini party. I love going to their stuff. Um um but I think that's it for this. We're running out of time, so but I really appreciate you coming on and looking at 208 with me, man.
210.
um 210. Gee, you put that in my head. You mentioned it. You said 208 or 210, and yeah,
Don't
210 in
don't blame
Buffalo.
don't blame me for terrible cards, bro. Listen, it's haunting you clearly.
It is. Yo, it's haunted. I was there for that one. I was there for, and a buddy of mine, I was supposed to meet guys from the MMA community in Brooklyn that night, man. And if you guys listen to this, I don't even remember if I sent you the apology. The last guy I remember talking to was um one of the guys that were at the Flow Combat the thing for UFC 205, Miguel. And he was like, "Are we gonna meet up?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then my night just went south. I mean, just where they had me seated, and the ticketing and the food, and then the card in itself. Oh my god! So apologies for keep bringing up that number. UFC 210 tomorrow night, Buffalo, New York. uh,
Dude, they're gonna send you a cease and desist letter. Like, bro, you're not even
yeah,
allowed to mention UFC in your radio shows anymore.
yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks again, Joseph. This will be up on frontproofmedia.com. I'm gonna put this on the MMA forethought, since I really didn't have time to do a written breakdown, and it's hard to pick for me. So I think you will use your analysis, because at least you picked a side. I'm being really kind with my pick. Like I said, either early finish for Rumble, or it's going to be a wear down for, again, for and a sub for Daniel Cormier. But we'll see, man.
I think that's solid, bro. Shameless plug just before I get off here. We will have hats, shirts, and merchandise available real soon on frontproofmedia.com. So you'll want to make sure to check in with Ed, on how you can get that. We'll have the merchandise really soon, as I mentioned, and it'll be a chance for the fans out there to, you know, be on the team. We want all fans to be with us. We appreciate all the support that we get. We're extremely blessed to be in the position that we're in, doing what we love. So I really appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to more of this.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again, dude. I'll talk to you or next time we do it, maybe next pay-per-view or something. But
Yes, please.
thanks, man.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.